Time usually marches in a straight, obedient line, 1 second neatly following the next. But every so often, a fracture appears, a seam, a door hiding inside an ordinary moment. Step through, and memory echoes forward, greeting moments that haven't yet arrived. The future loops back to meet you, and the familiar becomes just slightly, unmistakably wrong. Welcome, traveler, to the door between 2 seconds. Step carefully. The moment you entered is already behind you. Episode 5, The Soil That Remembers. They knew the planet was alive before they touched the ground. The instruments had been confused for hours. Telemetry reported shifting magnetic signatures, fractal atmospheric patterns, and resonance pulses that behaved more like breath than weather. Still, the crew of the Aurora's wake followed protocol. Descend, observe, document, avoid presumption. Captain Reyes stepped out first. The soil looked like silver ash, but rose gently to meet his boots, almost eager. It warmed instantly under his weight. Not radiation, not chemical reaction. It felt like greeting. Singh followed, then Maves, then Jun, each stopping as the surface lit beneath them in rings of pale bioluminescence. The lights didn't radiate outward randomly. They aligned with each footstep, forming a perfectly symmetrical pattern around the crew. Not passive, Jun whispered. It's anticipating us. The air hummed with motes drifting like airborne plankton. Shapes moved in the fog at a distance. Indistinct, shy silhouettes that pulled away from the crew, but not in fear, more like hosts making room for guests. Reyes adjusted his visor. Remember, we're visitors. Respect is the only tool we have that won't break something. The valley ahead inhaled subtly. The fog trembled, and then the ground beneath them pulsed once, sending a soft vibration up their legs, into their suits, into their bones. A signal, a question, not sound, permission-seeking. Jun was the first to speak. I think it wants us to follow. And so they did. They walked into a basin filled with luminous mist. The planet's strange structures surrounded them, spires resembling stretched vertebrae, amber membranes fluttering like breath, crystalline hollows that vibrated with low harmonic tones when the crew passed. But the deeper they went, the more the world around them subtly changed shape. Not dramatically, not like shifting architecture. No, something stranger. Structures reoriented themselves to remain at the edge of their vision, always peripheral, always watching without appearing to. At one point, Singh turned quickly, trying to catch one in the act. For a single instant, he saw a spire leaning toward them, flexing like cartilage, then snapping motionless the moment his gaze fixed on it. He swallowed hard. It's learning our attention patterns, Maves murmured. That means it knows when we're afraid. Reyes kept walking, even though he now felt the pressure of an intelligence gently brushing against his thoughts, testing boundaries the way a fingertip searches for a pulse. The fog thinned. They entered a clearing, a perfect circle of smooth, polished ground that glowed with its own quiet heartbeat. Then the pulses began, not random, not chaotic, not meaningless, a language made of resonance and light. The soil brightened beneath them, forming patterns. Maves gasped. It's communicating. Reyes knelt, watching the pulses shift into symmetrical, fractal spirals. The spirals tightened, contracted, and then resolved into something unmistakably linguistic, not written words, but concept impressions. A message formed, "You have come far. You carry a history of wounds. May I ask why you choose to bleed so often?" Singh froze. It knows what violence is. No, Jun said softly. It knows what we feel like. Fog thickened around them, swirling into emergent shapes. Not alien beings, human silhouettes. One stood hunched with exhaustion. One pointed angrily at another. Two backed away from each other in fear. A crowd turned its back on someone who needed help. A parent ignored a child reaching for attention. A face hardened before speaking. The figures performed no grand atrocities, only everyday neglect, the kind that eventually hollows a civilization from the inside. The planet wasn't warning them about war. It was warning them about indifference. Maves whispered, "It sees the small things, the quiet tragedies." The ground pulsed again. "Fear creates narrow rooms. You have built many such rooms." Reyes closed his eyes, letting the meaning settle. "We're still learning," he said. "We are a species in progress. We're trying to be better." The lights dimmed slightly. Progress is noise. Intention is quiet. The distinction cut through him. The fog shifted again, and this time it revealed not Earth's failures, but Earth's possibilities. A stranger offering a hand, a friend forgiving a friend, two people speaking honestly for the first time in years. A community rebuilding a place they once abandoned. A single human choosing compassion instead of convenience. These images glowed brighter than the others. The ground warmed beneath them, as if hopeful. Then the warmth collapsed. A new pulse rose, a long, trembling vibration they'd never felt before. Jun staggered. "Something's wrong," she whispered. The fog fractured like shattering glass. The ground darkened. The spires around them leaned in, trembling. "What's happening?" Singh shouted. Reyes steadied himself. "It's reacting to something." Maves checked her wrist sensor. Her breath caught. "Oh God," she murmured. "It's reading our memories." The ground brightened violently. Images exploded outward from beneath their feet. A soldier firing a weapon in fear. A protest turning violent because of misunderstanding. A person lashing out because they didn't know how to cry. A couple growing silent instead of asking for help. A civilization choosing convenience over care, repeatedly. The planet recoiled. You carry the echo of your world within you, even here, even now. Reyes stepped forward. "We're not here to harm you." But the response was gentle, achingly so. "I am not afraid you will hurt me. I am afraid you will live here the way you live there." The silence that followed was brutal. Maves asked, trembling, "Are you rejecting us?" The answer was instantaneous. "No. I am asking you to heal before you spread your unhealed shadow into new soil." Jun felt tears rising. "You sound like you've seen this before." The ground dimmed to a color they had not yet witnessed, a deep, mourning blue. "Your species is not the first to seek refuge here." A shiver ran through each of them. "And not the first I have turned away." The implication hit harder than an attack would have. Other civilizations, other wounded travelers, other species who fled instead of fixed. Reyes whispered, "What happened to them?" The planet answered with unbearable softness. "They left their home worlds broken, and so they brought their brokenness here. I could not be their escape, only their mirror." The crew stood motionless. In that moment they realized the moral was not about conquest or diplomacy. It was about exporting trauma the way humanity once exported culture. "What would you have us do?" Reyes asked. The ground warmed again. "Turn back. Heal what you are. Then return as who you could be." "And if we never return," Maves whispered, "then I will hope you heal anyway. For your sake, not mine." A soft kinetic wave rolled through the valley, lifting dust in a halo around the crew. The fog parted. A path opened behind them. Their presence no longer warmed the soil. They were dismissed with kindness. The crew walked back to the lander in silence that felt heavier than gravity. When they lifted off, the entire planet pulsed once, a slow, resonant farewell. As the Aurora's wake rose into orbit, June whispered, "We were never a threat to it." Maves nodded. "We were a lesson." Reyes stared at the glowing world beneath them, its surface breathing with patient sorrow. "No," he said quietly. "We were a warning." And long after they left, the planet remained still, listening to the stars for news of a species trying, finally, to heal its own soil before seeking another's. If you're still here, you already know this door doesn't open for everyone. Step closer.